Go.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Carolina Takedown Talk, episode 16, and we are back. I am Ryan Mitchell. This is Rhett Hoy. Man, we're back after
Quick hiatus. You know, it was a bad time to take it, but
getting married.
Sorry.
Had a little school stuff going on my way, but we're back. Welcome to Carolina Takedown Talk. We're excited to be here. We're a podcast that's presented to you by Carolina's Matt News, Mr. Frank Smithwick, leading the way for North Carolina and South Carolina wrestling coverage.
For sure. We're also brought to you by Village Coaching Recruiting. Tanner Sewell. Guys, if you want to wrestle in college, if you are a coach, if you are a parent, or if you are an athlete and you want to wrestle in college, or if you're a coach or parent and you want your athlete to wrestle in college, send them to Tanner Sewell. He is going to help you find the perfect fit for you to go wrestle in college. All right. It does not have to stop in high school. Wrestling is an amazing sport. All right. It doesn't matter if you want to go wrestle club, NAIA, JUCO, D3, D2, D1, whatever it is. Tanner's going to help you find the perfect fit and find your spot that you can keep on chasing your dreams in wrestling.
And we're looking for more sponsors. So if you want to sponsor our podcast, get your name mentioned before we get going on the content, then holler at us, send us a DM on Instagram.
Yeah, or shoot us an email at carolinatakedowntalk@gmail.com.
Yep. And make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel and turn those notifications on so you know when we're dropping different videos, like the Whiteboard Wars one we just dropped. That was
and if you haven't checked that out, check it out. We broke down the fantasy matchup of Huff and Ford. It was a lot of fun. I made Brian literally leave the show for a few minutes with a pick that I had. I had two pretty shocking picks on that one that I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for by the time you guys see this. I guess we can talk about it. You know, I did take Sanders over Clark with a pin, and I said that Ford would not get a stick.
He didn't even give the guy a bonus. They didn't
get a bonus. Yeah. So it is what it is. Guess what? It's a fantasy matchup, so we can make those picks. But now
let's talk
about some real life, some results, some state permit info. Let's get into it.
We're going to run down some results that we've kind of missed since we've been away. We're going to kind of try to do that quick because Brett and I, our big plan for this episode is we want to go 1A through 4A, every single region, and talk about big storylines, big matchups to watch for in each region. It's going to be a long one. Buckle up. Let's have some fun and talk some wrestling, Brett.
Let's do this.
So before we get really fired up, we got the girls' state tournament info coming up next weekend. So if you're looking to wrestle in that or check that out as a spectator, it is at Glenn High School, right outside of Winston-Salem there. Just like our high school boys state tournament, there are no wrestlebacks.
Sadly.
It sucks. It is what it is. We said our piece.
We tried. Thank you for everyone who I know that there was a big petition that got put out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a little too late for them to want to go back and change it. I'm not going to say it was too late to change it because I still think we could. But it is what it is, and we're here, and we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to have a great state tournament.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it a little bit tougher for us on some content. I know it's a little bit selfish, for us to talk about, but it is tough because now we're going to be split up into 3 different high schools for a state tournament.
Yeah, it's
of course I'm going to be coaching in one of them.
Yeah, Frank and Jason Fulmore and I were kind of talking about how awesome it was going to be for the 3 of us to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen. And I'd say for our athletes, but the wrestlebacks, I don't want to get into it and get all fired up again because I can go on a 30-minute rant about that. But the girls' state tournament next weekend, June 29th.
June 19th.
Or June 19th. Not 29th. June 19th. 2021, weigh-ins are at 8 a.m. Competition begins at 10 a.m. And that is, again, at Glenn High School.
Girls, get out there and wrestle. All right.
The price for that is $8. I know we got a question about just information about the girls' invitational.
And if you want to find out where we're finding that from, it is, I hate to plug them, but it's in nchsaa.org /sports/wrestling. And that's where all the women's invitational information is, the individual for regionals and for the state tournament for locations and different times on that. So there's that. We already talked about the wrestlebacks. They didn't come back really fast for state. The 1A and 4A venue, which I don't really think it makes sense. It kind of contradicts what we're doing here of not letting us have it at the Coliseum. I know you don't want to get into it, but 1A and 4A is going to be at the same venue. It's going to be at Glenn High School, and then 2A is going to be at Wheatmore High School, and then 3A is going to be at East Guilford High School. All of those weigh-ins. All the weigh-in times are going to be on there. But one thing I'm excited for, though, is from what I understand, we're going to be sending 4 kids from each region.
Yeah.
And I know 2A, 3A, 4A is. I'm not sure on 1A. I don't know if they have the same amount of kids.
Yeah.
I haven't checked into 1A, but
and as far as like coverage goes, Frank will be at 1. I think Joy Tobbs is going to help us out and be at 3A. I'm not sure which one Jason and I will be at. If we'll be at separate one, same one. We haven't really.
If you'd like to be a contributor,
if you want to do contribution,
if you want to help us out,
hit Frank up, especially this year with it being in 4 separate locations. I originally, when I heard it come through that it was going to be at separate locations, was going to try to bounce from one location to another, but I just don't think. I think I'm going to miss too much.
Too spread out. Yeah,
I might be better off just picking one and sticking with it.
Yeah.
So we'll see which one I'm at. Try to make sure you guys know that on social media and stuff, which one I'm at. But all right, let's talk results that we missed here. So one that we didn't get to talk about in our last episode, just because we hadn't heard the result, but Frank sent us the video. We got to see it.
Yeah.
And we are big fans of Aiden Maher, and he's had an incredible season. But Carson Floyd of Lake Norman put it on him.
Yeah,
it was.
Floyd really showed us how dominant he is in that match.
We talked off air about how we just thought Floyd, and I think we made that pick even on air, that Carson Floyd's kind of a tier above right now. I went on record, picked him to win at 220. Now at 195. I'm going to talk about it later a little bit in the regional stuff. He's the favorite to me by far.
100%. So and then some team results is that we missed was Cardinal Gibbons over West Forsyth, Lumberton over West Forsyth. Big shout out to Teague Little. He always likes to keep us honest, and a big, I'm gonna call it upset.
Yeah,
Quintez Shipman knocks off Maher in overtime.
I mean, the Maher beat 2 state champs this season and beat the defending state champ at 195.
100%.
And then, but Quintez Shipman showing he's right there in the thick of things. Maybe he's the challenger for Floyd for the title.
He's a dark horse there.
It's gonna be interesting with all.
Big shout out to you, Quintez, and like I said, again to you, Little, and that staff out there. We love you guys. We're big fans here. And then 2 big teams.
Yeah, defending state champs,
3A. My Inca Jets, my boys,
and Fred T. Ford going and taking to Inca a little bit. Ford put it on y'all just a little bit,
They're a tough team.
They're a tough team, but the big,
like we said,
yeah, they're really good. Like Rhett said, check out that whiteboard where we kind of talked through, and just the depth that Ford has is what really setting them apart right now. But the big individual result there was your boy Tony Torres beating state runner-up Zane Burchett. And man, we've talked since pretty much episode 3 about how Tony Torres, I'm a big fan of him now, just based off the interview you did with him after practice, and just the caliber kid he is. So
one of my favorite kids that I've ever coached.
So I'm excited for to watch him over the next week and a half. See what he can do.
I'm excited. He's peaking. That's a big win right there over Burchett. I mean, that's a huge win. Shout out to you, Tony. That's massive. Another update there is
as
North Henderson coming over to Inca,
and then you beat y'all in the duel. They beat y'all in the tournament. Coach Knock and Coach Oy had those boys.
They put it together, man. And that's one thing that I love about them. We are conference rivals. We are regional rivals. I think from where we're shooting this episode right now, North Henderson might be 10 minutes away. So we're very close to them, but Oy and Knock know how to get their guys ready to wrestle, and they are led by the workhorse the behemoth, the monster, Tristan Norris.
Who was at 220?
Yeah,
now
so that's the question. That's why I kind of want to talk about it a little bit here.
I had heard that he is coming down to 220. The reason is people were forfeiting to him at 285, and he couldn't go around, so he got down a little bit in his weight. He was a little closer to 220, and he was tired of being he was ready to wrestle. He didn't want to be forfeited to. So
do you think he stays there for regionals and state?
I think that his weight's good enough to stay down at 220. So I think we see him at 220 for regionals and state. But he wanted to wrestle, guys. So he went to 220. He was going to wrestle 220 or 285.
Yeah.
Wherever he can get a match.
Big shout out to you, Tristan.
I like that mentality. And hey, I'm rocking the Yellow Jackets wrestling shirt today, which is North Henderson's youth club where they have all their elementary school kids at. So
yeah.
Shout out to Oy and Knock for a great job they do running that.
Coach
club.
Williams.
Yeah, Coach Williams.
Yeah.
I love him there.
You're the man. You're the man.
So we talked about Ford and how we did that whiteboard war. It's the other half of that equation. Huff with you called it the try of the year.
Tell me another try that's bigger than it right now.
Hey, I don't think so.
I mean, it's massive. At the time, Orange was undefeated.
Yeah.
Huff was undefeated.
Mooresville had one loss. So 3 perennial powerhouses now. I mean, because Huff has now established himself as a powerhouse in my eyes. Oh, for sure.
Made that powerhouse. I agree. Mooresville, Coach Watson, he does things the right way. And then Orange, we can go back to the 90s of seeing the black and orange crowd.
That last year was the first year Orange didn't have a state placer since 1988.
Yeah. And it looked like that might be changing,
So they're getting back on track here. I think this year, not sure if they'll get it done with just kind of how crazy the year is with no wrestlebacks and stuff, but definitely Orange back on the rise. I really like that program and how those kids wrestle.
Yeah.
Huff though, just kind of on a different level right now.
Yeah, Huff's just like we say about individual kids. Huff is just they're on a different level. There's levels to this. Mm-hmm. They're a different level. They took it to Mooresville. They took it to Orange. In my opinion, the try of the year right there.
Awesome. And Frank said it not only was a try of the year, he said he was texting Rhett and I and said that there was some North Carolina legends up in that building.
Yeah.
So there were people everywhere that he was trying to get interviews from.
Yeah. I know the coaches from UMO, Coach Willis and Coach Sewell. Alan Sewell, they were in the building. They're wanting. That's one thing I'm loving about UMO right now. I know that in the past I've talked about them a lot, especially in our college season.
Pickups too.
They've got some massive pickups, massive recruiting class. We'll cover that a little bit more in the off season. Right now we're going to focus on state, but they were in the building watching, and I love seeing that. I love seeing our schools in the state at local duels watching. They're not just waiting for the state tournament and waiting for regionals to pop up and watch a kid once. They're out recruiting. They saw that this is going to be one of the biggest matches in the state, the biggest match of the year, and they want to see how kids reacted and how kids perform. And shout out to you guys. Big props to UMO, Coach Willis, Coach Sewell.
Yeah, I'm excited about that coming up.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be really good.
They're going to be solid. They're going to be great.
Speaking of surprises, that transitions us right into some teams that maybe I'm going to take that more of the I here, overlooked this year coming into the year. I didn't necessarily kind of write them off or anything. I just kind of was focused on some other areas, other teams. So some teams that kind of jumped out at us that we didn't mention a whole lot is D.H. Conley.
Probably the most shocking of the year.
Yeah,
I'm going to say.
As far as like our perception, at day one to now, our perception now. Not that we didn't think y'all were good.
Nothing against you guys. It's
it's that
you weren't on our radar.
You were on this tier, and you've shown us now you were on a way higher tier than we anticipated. They are 21-0.
You've got our attention now.
Yeah,
we know who D.H. Conley is. We will be watching all this season for this championship season.
I wish we had a dual championships to see where they can end up at that 3A classification. But D.H. Conley, congratulations on your 21-0 season. Looking forward to what you do over the next couple weeks here. Union Pines is another one. We knew Union Pines was good in the year, but they're on a different tier than we thought.
A whole different tier. So not only did they knock off Pinecrest, but this past Thursday, they knocked off undefeated 4A powerhouse Laney High School.
Yes, and that was
at Laney High School.
So
yeah, I mean, all year we've been talking about, with Robbinsville, with Southeast Guilford, like we want the smoke, right? Like that's kind of been our thing of, and some people have kind of asked before, like, well, what does we want the smoke mean? That means we are ready to wrestle, or, a team is ready to wrestle anyone, any day, any place, whatever. You put us on the schedule, we will be 100%. There.
We just like
Union Pines did that. They did not have to schedule that match with Laney High School. But you know what they said? They said, you know what? Huff's getting talked about as number 1 team in the state. Ford's getting talked about as number 1 team in the state. Avery's getting talked about. Where's the love for Union Pines?
Yeah,
they went to Laney and knocked off the 4A. I mean, one of the most historic programs in the state.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw it back to UMO's, coaches, school, and Willis
too. We thought that Laney was kind of like on an island in the East this year, all classifications. So we thought that was the best team in the East.
Yep.
Union Pines goes out. And
they said,
they proved us wrong.
Yeah.
We really like teams and individuals that just seek out the best competition possible, wrestle the toughest teams, wrestle the toughest opponents.
Yes.
That's the kind of things we look for. So, Union Pines, shout out to you guys. Lumberton is another one. T. Little. Yeah. We were talking about him just a minute ago. He kept us honest. We kind of thought we knew they were good, but they proved this year based on their results. They're really good.
Yeah, they are a team to look for.
Tournament.
They are a team to look for right there.
That is a powerhouse, but it kind of slipped under the radar. And I think it's because of the fact that I mentioned just a few minutes ago. Orange had an undefeated year this year.
Yeah,
and up until they lost the tribe.
Now I don't know. I don't mean to take any thunder from them, but I don't know if we had a full year if they keep that undefeated season. But massive props.
They
going undefeated in a COVID season this year. I think some people are kind of looking past it and saying, "Oh, well, y'all didn't wrestle anybody." They still had wrestled through a pandemic, right? They still had challenges. They still had a lot of different things to get through. Massive shout out to Orange, going undefeated all the way up until they ran into the powerhouse of Huff.
Yeah, and I was impressed by the way they're building back up. After kind of just a quiet year last year. So, those are just just a couple teams that impressed us throughout the season this year in the dual season as we head into regionals and state tournaments.
Yeah, and one quick shout out. We like we said, guys, we said, hey, send it in if you're a coach and you want you think that one of your kids had a big win, or if you're an athlete and you think you had a big win, whatever it is, you're a parent. I don't care. Like, I don't care who you are. We want to know because we want to give these kids the recognition they deserve. So, big props to Caden Ladd from Reagan High School. Picking up the fall, was up 2-1 over Colin Carlson from West Forsyth. Up 2-1, hits a spladle. Big fan favorite. Knocks him off second period, man. Big shout out to you, to you. Good luck this championship season. And, I think that's what we're going to navigate straight into here. Transition is
championship season.
It's champ time.
Man,
it is championship season. It's insane.
It's my favorite part of wrestling season.
This is normally February. It's a little bit warmer. Cutting weight's a little bit easier, I guess.
I used to say when I was coaching you and other guys that it's money time. Right?
Yeah.
It's the money time.
Yeah.
It's the time.
Bryce Meredith, it's money season.
Yeah, it's like the haze in the barn. It's time for the kids to go out and perform.
Yeah.
Let's roll. We're going to go down every region, we're not going to talk about every weight because if we talk about every weight,
we'd be here for hours.
Us guys, we're big talkers. We would be here for 12 hours.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about different weights in the region, things to watch, just kind of maybe storylines, team-wise. So let's start with 1A and work our way up. So we got 1A East, 106, probably the biggest storyline all last year.
Probably the biggest name in the state.
Probably the biggest name in the state right now.
Yeah.
Heaven Fitch. I have not heard, speaking of which, just to kind of derail a second, where she's going to school yet. I want to know.
I haven't heard either.
What her options are. So if Adam Cox or Heaven, if you were listening, or Heaven's mom and dad, reach out to Rhett or I or Frank and kind of give us a hint about where she's looking or if she's decided where she's going. Very interested to see where she ends up because I think she's big on the next level. Anyway, biggest name in the state. She's defending state champ. Yeah. She's going to do it again this year, guys. So she is the leader in the pack, obviously, of the 1A 106 in the East region. I think it's just always worth a mention to get her in there. 113, though, is a little bit more of an interesting weight. We have number 3, Tristan Hale from South Davidson, who's a former state qualifier last year. Number 4, Sebastian Blay from Rosewood. And number 5, Jack MacArthur from URA Charter, all in the same way. So we got 3, 4, and 5 in the East at 113. Now, Hale is currently undefeated, and he has a pin over MacArthur. But Blay is also undefeated, but he doesn't really have any notable wins as of right now. So Hale's probably the favorite, but it's interesting to see 3, 4, 5 kind of in the same region there. And then just right above, you have Logan Tortel, third place last year, wrestling, and he's number 1 in the state. Number 2 in the state is Ricardo Bustos from Almaro, and he's got third in the state last year too. So you got 1 and 2 in the state, wrestling at 120. And then bang, right away, another weight, 126. You got Timmy Freeze from South Davidson, Austin Kenny from URA Charter, and William Kimball from Rosewood. So you have 2, 3, and 4 in the same weight. So the East, 106, Heaven Fitch all day.
Yeah.
Then you go
next topic.
Yeah, you got 113, 120, and 126. You have a real close cluster of the top guys in there, which, to be quite honest, I'm going to be very blunt and honest with you guys. 1A has been dominated by the West since the inception.
Yeah.
And I think, other than Rosewood and URA Charter, it's been pretty evident that the West, between Mitchell and Avery and Wes Wilkes,
the West has ran 1A.
And West has been the dominant 1A. But rankings-wise, we got some interesting stuff going down here with.
I don't think that changes this year either.
I think you get more champs from the West, and I think we have wrestlebacks. We'd see more placers than ever from the East. I think
if we had wrestlebacks,
had wrestlebacks. I agree. I think with the year 132 ends up being no different. With you have 2, 3, 4, and 5 at the state, and now all these rankings are coming from the ncmat.com. The reason I chose to use those rankings instead of ranked wrestlers was because NCMAT is done by our local North Carolina guys. Like we have coaches and contributors that are North Carolina people doing those rankings. And since we're a North Carolina podcast, right now our North Carolina guys, I want to support our North Carolina products here. So Cody Lawson kind of leads that pack from South Stokes. You have Brandon Reese, from Rosewood, Brian Lackey from URA Charters, then our 4 guy, and Jaquarius Caraway from South Stanley, who's a 3-time state qualifier, so can make it 4 here. So that'll be an interesting little bracket there. We're going to jump a couple weights, guys, just because the interesting comes down a little bit. I really like 160 at 1A East. We got Doug Bowles, who's a URA Charter.
Yeah.
Hayden Waddell has been all over me and all over you on our Instagram stuff about working on URA Charter.
Hayden Waddell believes in y'all and URA Charter.
Yeah, you're a beast, Hayden. I like what you're doing at UMO. I've followed your high school career. I think you're great. I also think that I'm not sleeping on URA Charter. I know what they got. They're going to be great in the East. They're not going to beat Avery. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. Yeah. That's how Rhett feels.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I just think that Avery's just got
Trust me, I'm not afraid to be wrong.
So many bullets in the chamber this year. It's out of control. So Doug Bowles is going to be URA Charter leading that pack with number 4, Johnny Dotson from South Stokes as a state qualifier, and number 5, Matthew Pelauter from Noosa Charter, which is not a school you hear a bunch of guys coming out of. He is also in that bracket.
Shout out to you, Matt. Yeah, be that trailblazer, man. Be that trailblazer.
So at 220, we got South Stanley's Tony Rogers. He's a state placer. Reason I think he's got a little bit ahead of the field, even though number 3, Monte Hall from Alvaro's there. I just think that he's the biggest challenger to Zach Vance on the west side.
Right.
So speaking of the 1A West, this is where Avery Robbinsville gonna go down. But you know what? We know about those teams. Let's talk about some of these other guys we got.
Start off 106. We got Marcos. Man, I just keep on picking the worst names to read. Sagahan.
Yeah,
from Allegheny.
Yeah, he does have number 2 Luke Wilson from Robbinsville in his weight, who was in the finals, opposite Heaven Fit.
Tough one.
But I think Allegheny getting a guy in there, rebuilding up a little bit from what they used to be, because
they got Allegheny was a powerhouse.
They were, and then they about 3 or 4 years ago were doing really well as well.
Yep.
Just kind of working through their cycle. So I think they're back on the up and up, and I like Marcos as well. So that was a good point out there, number 3 in the state. And then we have Hunter Flupp and Brady Buchanan at 113. Hunter Flupp got 3rd last year at from North Stokes, and Cherryville, Brady Buchanan got 4th last year. So two state placers in one weight is always notable. We can't leave out, dude. I know Todd Odom loves this kid, and I can't help but start feeling the same way. Jaden Noel, number 1 in the state runner-up 2 years ago. And we got the Avery crew coming up, guys. We know we have Ethan Shell at 132. We know we have Jonah Hayes kind of leading the pack at 138. Yeah. But that 145 bracket,
Allegheny's back.
Yeah, number 1, Riley Pruitt. He's a state qualifier last year.
Ranked over returning state champ Franklin Bennett from Mount Airy.
Yes.
Jacob Freejay, part of that coaching staff. I believe he's still over there. Former, I think he was at East Surrey or West Surrey. I don't remember exactly which one of the Surreys. Sorry about that, Freejay. But they're building up Mount Airy again, you know?
Yeah.
So especially in their midweights, Mount Airy they start popping up again, you know?
Oh, yeah. These 2 weights back to back. Pruitt getting the win over Bennett and sudden victory.
Yeah.
To put himself number 1 ranked. So the rematch coming at regionals. And then Pruitt's teammate, Connor Medvar. Man, actually, I don't know if you remember this, but we were going through title contenders all the way back in the beginning of our episodes. I think it was episode 5 or 6. And Connor actually messaged us and was like, hey, why did you not message me as a title contender? I was 3rd. I beat this kid that you guys even mentioned. And Rhett texted me about it. He sent me, he's like, hey, what do you think about this? I was like,
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Yeah,
we messed that one up. And
shout out to you, man.
We messaged him back, I think, and said hey, we just missed you and we're sorry, but you're right.
Yeah.
So
and he's proved us. Yeah. And he proved himself right.
He's proved himself right, and he was right then. He's right now. So Connor Medvar kind of lead the way. Now the guy that's going to challenge him, he had a win over last year, but Tristan Adams from Avery, he was one of my guys that's kind of hey, watch out for this guy coming into the year. And he's proved me right, made me look kind of smart on that.
And then of course we got the Avery boys at 160, 170. Parker Blackledge.
Yeah, Blackledge coming down to 170 after the
Can you blame him for the 182 monster of Robbinsville?
So that meant
Paige Williams.
Yeah, Paige Williams. I've talked about enough on the podcast. You guys know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
Seth Blackledge going down to 170, sends Dalton Toe up to 182.
Blackledge is the new favorite at 170.
Yeah, Blackledge's favorite is 170.
Yeah.
He did take a weird loss to a Polk County kid a couple weeks ago, but he avenged that loss
the conference.
Conference or
2 nights
ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a weird loss, something to watch, but definitely I still think the favorite at 70. And Paige Williams favorite at 182. Dalton Toe was a state runner-up last year, but
doesn't touch.
Paige Williams dominated him in the offseason.
Yeah.
So, and then 195, someone to watch. Kyle Fink's the favorite, but watch out for Wade Turner from Thomas Jefferson. He was 4th last year. Put together a nice year this year.
Shout out to Coach Doc Holliday out there at Thomas Jefferson. You know, always trying to build a program down there. It's tough. Small school. Yeah. Small school down there in Rutherford County. But big shout out to you guys and to Wade, you know, returning placer, hoping to get back to the tournament this year.
Yeah, definitely. And then 220, Zach Vance. We talked about him earlier in the podcast. The one challenger I think he has is Tony Rogers in the East. he's gonna, I think, roll through the 220 West.
And then what I'm really excited for in this tournament, though, I think this is the best weight in the 1A West here is 285 from Avery, Levi Andrews, two-time state champ, and CJ Henderson from Elkin, who took third and then runner-up. They're in the same bracket here. This is where, for me, man, like, seeding is so massive.
Yeah,
like it's so insane. Like seeding, and I haven't looked at these guys' schedule, their schedules, their rankings, or their records. I'm sure they're both undefeated, right? But this is something that if they ran into each other in the quarters there, we could have a state champ and a state runner-up. Possibly going down in the quarters. It's just one of those things. So hopefully it's just going to be one of those things that that the seedings work out in all of these. And I think that goes for 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. Man, seeding is going to be so big this year.
So big.
It's going to be massive. I know the seeding meeting is Sunday, at least for the 3A West.
Seeding is going to be important, especially that 6-3 and that 4-5.
Yeah, man, it's massive.
It's big.
It is massive.
To an official, a very prominent official, today actually, and talking about how much pressure that quarter is going to.
We won't drop his name just because.
Don't want to put him in the spotlight, but he was just saying that the pressure is real in that quarter match for them. He told athletes the coaches.
He told me that every referee is coming into this regional tournament treating every match legitimately like it's a state title match. And I mean, of course, you would hope that every referee treats every match like it's a state finals, just like you tell every athlete, hey, wrestle this like it's your last match, like it's a state finals match. But, we talked about it, and he's at a big regional tournament this weekend, and it's one of those things where it's like, man, you guys have no room for error. Like, look, I think that being an athlete this, coming up in regionals is always stressful, and, because everyone's dream is to be a state champ, but a lot of kids overlook this regional tournament. And that's where a lot of upsets happen, is in those quarters, just because kids are looking at that state championship picture and not looking at this week, Tuesday, around probably 11 o'clock, I'd say, is where the quarter is going to go down, that we might see a lot of upsets.
It's going to be interesting, like you said, especially that quarters round.
Yeah. It's the new blood round. I mean, it is the blood round.
What makes it interesting too is that because of this COVID year and the restrictions that have been in place, we're going to see a lot of undefeated kids. So that's one of the things I noticed when I was going through all these track profiles. There's a lot of kids that are undefeated that you just wouldn't expect, and a lot of kids with really good records that you might not expect. And that's not because their team didn't schedule anybody or they couldn't schedule anybody, it's just how it worked out because of the lack of being able to schedule things. And so we're gonna see some 4 or 5 matchups that are gonna be heat. Like it's gonna be
awesome.
It is gonna be awesome.
So bumping up to 2A, the 2A East. And it is your home region. This is yours.
My school here.
First Flight. Take it away.
Alumni, proud alumni.
Take it away.
Before, I'm really interested in this here because Reagan Riddick, 106. Be ready, 2A East.
Is that breaking news there?
No, she wrestled in a duel here on the 11th. That was at 106. So I don't think I'm breaking it unless you're not paying attention. But Reagan Riddick coming down 106. She's gonna be problems for you 2A 106 pounders. So heads up, be ready to fight.
Could we see 2?
She's gonna be problems.
Could we see 2 female state champions? After last year, it never being done before, could we see it being done again? I think Heaven does it again this year.
Yes.
So I think we're gonna get one more. But
There's a couple kids that
Can
are
Reagan win that?
There's a couple kids that are gonna be really tough for Reagan to beat because of leg attacks. I feel like.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Reagan Riddick fan. She'll bomb you. I've said that she'll bomb you if she gets the chance.
Yes.
But I'm not sure about winning it, but she's gonna be in the thick of things. I'm gonna say that. So down to 106, which means first place lineup's gonna shifting down a little bit, and that Jacob Krasiski coming down to 113 and Blake Austin down to 120. All three of those guys and Reagan, those guys and Reagan are gonna be problems.
People to watch.
First flight's
about to put some people on notice.
Put it together again. I got another kid I'm gonna talk about a little bit later. I'm interested to see Blake Austin first flight versus Walker Bell from West Craven at 120.
Yeah.
Sam Hodge, this is a kid that I hear a lot about from my first flight connections there, and then from a couple other people. Sam Hodge, who's third last year, his only loss was to Kyle Monteperto in the state semis. I had a coach in the area recently tell me Sam Hodge, 126 state champ. Book it.
He said book it.
Yeah, he was ready to nail it down. I think there's a couple kids out in the West that are going to disagree, but he's definitely one to watch. I think a great weight is checking out 138 with Jeremiah Cannon from West Craven, Ethan Mills from Dixon, and Noah Walker from Currituck. The same person who was telling me about Sam Hodge from Currituck was like, hey, Noah Walker's legit. Like, make sure you guys don't sleep on him. So great weight at 138. I think the weight and matchup to watch, though, is at 182. Another first flight kid, Milos Gargol. We talked about him a couple episodes ago. He has really, the levels he's jumped, going from kind of like a middle of the road kind of kid as a freshman to state placer last year to he is a legitimate finals contender across from lane and 4. And, man, I know there's some belief coming from that side of the state that, man, he could challenge for a little bit. I'm not so sure yet. I'll see it, but
I'll have to see how 4 is moving.
I'm excited to see what Milos can put together. But he's going to be wrestling Raheem Jones from North Pitt, and he kind of controlled Raheem last time they wrestled. But Raheem's a former big boarder, state placer as a freshman at 182, so definitely a good matchup to watch. And then let's move to the West, man. Out here, we've talked about it before. I think I mentioned it on the podcast. Maybe I wrote an article. The 2A West has been the most dominant region in the state, bar none. They've had like almost half the state champs in 2A for the last like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
it's kind of absurd how many state champs and how many finals matchups are West versus West. I don't think we're going to see much of a difference in that this year. I'm telling you, we got number 1 versus number 2 right off the bat at a 2A 106 with Braden Mejia. We talked about him in our whiteboard war, which if you haven't checked it out, you should.
Yep.
Braden Mejia from Ford, buzzsaw against Riley Shaw, who's number 2 from West Wilkes. They've met already, and Mejia went bonus on him. So I think it's Mejia again. Stepping up to 126. This is a good one, Rhett. We got
the big one.
We got Brock Carey, number 1 in the state from Fred T. Ford.
This
against
is
number 2 from West Lincoln, Langston Hoffman, who has a win over Jordan Slossman, who actually beat Brock Carey in the state finals last year. He also lost to him. They kind of traded wins there. So that one, I think, is my most excited one for the region, man. What do you think?
For sure. I mean, I'm excited down here for 220, though.
Yeah.
I know we're bouncing down a little bit really fast, but Jerron Greer from Ash and Cole Clark from Newton Conover, both runner-ups. They're going to meet here in this region.
That's true, man. 2 runner-ups meeting. That's tough.
I think 220 takes the weight class of the 2A West region.
There's a lot of people, though. Speaking of the big boys, people are talking about this heavyweight 2A race. They wanna talk about Dylan Smith from Ford, who's undefeated. We talked about on the whiteboard war. Alex Rowland, who got 4th last year, and then you talk about him a lot. You like this kid a lot. I do too. Ryan Walker, Newton Conover, UNC Pembroke commit. It's kind of gone under the radar.
I think there's one more too. I think we could even throw in the Pisgah's heavyweight.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good too.
I think we could even throw him in there.
But so this weight is pretty loaded as well.
I think the most like toss-up weight in this region is going to be 285 here for 2A West.
Yeah.
Like you said, with Ryan Walker, UNCP commit, state champ, Alex Rowland, Dylan Smith from Ford. Smith's been looking great here recently. And then, like I said, Pisgah's heavyweight, he's solid. I think Ryan's a level above though.
Yeah,
I think he's on the next level.
We were kind of talking about off air about this topic a little
Yeah.
bit, and you were like, man, I think Walker's just kind of cut above, and I'm gonna agree with you there. I think he's just kind of a different level.
I think so.
Another weight there though I'm interested in is 45 with Zach Lewis, state champ.
Mm-hmm.
And Xander Hill, the freshman that beat Eli Foster in the area of the year. I had someone email me about him and saying like, this guy's legit.
It wasn't a fluke.
Yes, this is a really, really good
what
kid.
everyone's
Pay attention
saying.
to what he's doing. So I think Lewis is kind of a cut above, kind of like we were saying with Walker, but I'm excited to see Xander Hill against him. Just kind of mark him against the best there.
I'm definitely gonna take Lewis on that one.
Yeah,
I think strength of schedule and just everyone he's wrestled this year is gonna come out on top there. Moving on to the Midwest here. This is a big one here for 113. We're just gonna jump straight into that with Eli Thomas from Forbrush, former runner-up, took third, and then taking on with Grant Haney from CATA. Who I think a lot of people are sleeping on. I know you always bring CATA up.
Yeah.
I don't think they touch Ford. I mean, if we're really going to talk about it, I don't think that they touch Ford at all. But they're going to be solid.
Haney is a big part of CATA and what's the CATA Ford dynamic look like.
Yeah.
Because Ford has come on strong with some of their young guns with Maheda and Clark and Dylan Smith kind of inserting themselves into the title contention at the state tournament. And so Haney's kind of done the same for himself at 113.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still say CATA's in that because they got Haney and Ross, both Ross brothers, and Monteperto and a kid I'm going to talk about in a second, Logan Fight.
Let's say we need to watch out for him because I think he's a sleeper.
Yeah, Logan Fight hasn't had the chance to wrestle any of the top guys yet.
Yeah.
But we both know, we've heard about him from a couple of people. He's a kid to watch. He had a great NHSCAs. So he's at 138. He's got Jacob Cox in his weight. He's got Ian Murray in his weight. But he's there. But kind of right in the thick of things with their big guns. They kind of got that. We got a bunch of title contenders. Let's let the point scores go. I think a way to watch here is 132. Probably the best matchup. I don't know. There's a couple. The
160. I think 160 is pretty solid.
Yeah. The Midwest region is pretty fun. This 2A right now. You got 132 guy, number 3, Jordan Schlossman, who was a state champ last year, versus number 1, Hunter Ross, we were just talking about, who's gotten 3rd, 5th, 2nd, looking pretty good. Always has.
Looking to wrap up his career.
Yeah, try to get his career.
Top of the podium.
We also, obviously, y'all know we have Kyle Monteperto at 120. He's got the number 2 ranked guy at his weight, but Monteperto is our next topic. And always excited to watch Jeremiah Price.
Yeah.
Always excited to watch Jeremiah Price. So at 145, we'll see him. Aiden Hyatt from West Stanley kind of finishing out his senior year here, injured last year. So he's at 152. Excited to kind of see him. CATA at 160. You kind of prefaced this a few minutes ago, kind of was saying we got Aiden Curry, state runner-up, state champ from CATA versus
Dalton Miller from Mount Pleasant, a runner-up. I think that might be the best weight here. In the fact of I don't know who's going to take that. I think Aiden takes it. I think he does, but I think that's going to be a state finals match right there.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's kind of a preview for a state final, I think. And I was hoping we'd get that in season. We didn't. They duel each other, but it just didn't work out, I guess, for them to be at the duel. So, but that's a good matchup. I'm also liking 220s. Number one, Stephen Campley from Surrey Central. He was the one guy to push Landon Ford last year. It was a 7-6 semifinal at the state tournament. It was close. And he's going to be wrestling defending state champ Chase Creighton from Mount Pleasant, who he was a 4-seed coming out of the regionals last year and caught fire at the state tournament. So I'm kind of interested to see how that stacks up.
Yep.
Let's move to the Mid-East for 2A here, Rhett.
Mid-East is a pretty short one. You know, I mean, I think it's 3 big names there.
Yeah, I agree.
113, we're gonna have RJ James from Reedsville.
Yes, I want to see him and Clark wrestle the state tournament. Him and Clark from Ford.
Yes,
Ford.
I would love to see that. 132, our boy.
Elijah Boy,
the poster boy of NCHSA.
I feel like I haven't got to talk about him as much lately just because the regional schedule hasn't allowed me to. But Elijah Boy, still a huge fan. Love how he wrestles on his feet. So slick. Gets to those leg attacks, and he's got a motor. He'll go.
Big fan.
I'm excited to see him. He's right in the thick of things at 126, 132. We'll see what happens there. And we got also David Jacobson from Trinity, who trains with Elijah Boy. So those 3 big names, just kind of watching that in the Mid-East region. And then talking about the East region, we got a kid, Christian Zickfuss from West Brunswick. I know him and his coach were kind of a little
bumping up to 3A here, though.
Yeah.
So bumping up to 3A East here.
Sorry, I'm just getting excited.
Not excited. We're ready to go.
Bumping up to the 3A classification. Christian Zickfuss at 106. West Brunswick, I think right after we did the title contenders episode, his coach kind of tweeted at us like, "Oh, fire in the belly here. Thanks for kind of brushing us off, just talking about it for a second." So
use it as motivation,
I think he's definitely state title contender, state title favorite maybe at this point with how his season's progressed.
Yep.
So he's there at 106. A DH Conley kid, we talked about their team. Now their individual, Ethan Lennison. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, my friend. DH Conley, though, 120, looking good.
Yeah.
State title defense begins now for Mr. River Carroll at 170.
The man.
Yeah, I like this style. I
love watching him wrestle. Yeah.
But probably the biggest matchup, Brett.
For 3A East, I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be from a team that they're on our radar. They have demanded that we pay attention. I remember at the beginning of the season, they said, watch for us. And we're just kind of like, like everyone says that, whatever. Undefeated team or dual team. 120, now 182. Number 2, Troy Weaver took 6th versus Noah Atkinson from South Brunswick, also a 6th place finisher. I think that's the weight of the region right there. And it's going to be big. I'm excited to see that one.
Now let's talk about the West here.
Yeah.
So,
my boys.
Yeah, your boys, the Anchor Crew.
First, we can't skip Laz.
No,
we can't skip Laz at 113 from North Henderson. Of course, big props to them. They came to Inca, beat us in the duel, and then they also won a conference championship. They're hosting regionals this coming up Tuesday.
I'll be there.
It's gonna be awesome. Of course, I'll be there. My Inca guys, and but he's got a big one, and then Wes Henderson bringing in somebody, Damon Landreth. Wes Henderson, a little rebuilding year.
Yeah,
rebuilding year. Last year solid. They kind of lost their horses a little bit.
Yeah, back, though I've heard some good.
Yeah, things. Of course, Coach Conley over there, he does great things.
Yes. Coach Smith helping back out there.
Coach Smith's back in the room. We're big fans of that program. Of course, North and West are rivals for us over at Inca, but that's a Western program does the right way. Conley's a great coach. He does the right way. But
it's kind of crazy. North and West are 15 minutes apart.
Yeah,
probably. And so 2 kids that are ranked number 2 and 3 in the state at 3A classification.
I think this is a big one where seeding is going to be big.
Yes, I agree.
Seeding is. I can't say that enough.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a pick in this one. I'll take Laz. They've wrestled a bunch of times.
I'm taking Laz by either
comfortably.
I'm taking Laz by a major, tech, or a fall.
You'll take major, tech, fall. I'll go major. I think
I'll go major, tech, fall. I mean,
he's I think Yeah, I'll take major or just under a major. Definitely a comfortable win.
I'm going to take Laz over Damon. I would say 13-1, 14-2.
Man, you are putting it on. I don't know about that. I'm thinking like a seven.
I think he puts it on him.
6 to 7 point win.
Laz looks good right now, man.
Laz does look great.
But then, of course, the Inca crew.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my boys a little bit.
Guys.
I think the biggest sleeper here in the 3A West is going to be Bodie. He's solid. I think he's going to end up. I think he can win a few state titles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this year. I think he's got to put it together. I think we got two guys that him, Isaiah Morrison at 126. I think he's got a good shot at punching a ticket. But we've got a murder's row right there with Eli Foster at 45. He's going to have a big one with Trayvon. Yeah. Again, Trayvon Hill from North Henderson. Trayvon's a freakish athlete. I think we split with him last year, and then we've got 2 victories over him this year. I think Eli's really hitting his pace and finding his groove. Grayson Harris. I think Grayson's Grayson. I love watching that kid wrestle. One of my favorite styles that I've ever seen. I don't coach him a lot because younger guy, of course, he's Mark Harris's son. He's not a younger guy, smaller guy. So he's on the other side of the room. But I love watching him wrestle. He's slick from everywhere.
Yeah.
Moving up, we've got Torres. Torres. I think Torres wins state title this year.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at Torres for MOW for this tournament. Okay, I think he comes out, wrestles great.
He's the one that I really like Torres.
Yep.
I really, really like Torres and just how he looks and his style. So I'm excited to see him live and in person when I'm there on Tuesday. So.
Yep. And we've got Luke Arts. Mm-hmm. And then we've got Colby Maxwell, returning state finalist. He's been hungry. Ups and downs this year, and he's dialed in, ready to go. He's been in the room grinding. I think we got a big guy. I think Daniel Gath, our heavyweight, I think he could sneak in at 285 if one man goes 220.
I think we're interested at 220
because I think so. I may change it. I'm going to say it's a 3-horse race between Tristan, Grayson Harris, and Tony Torres for MOW. For this one, I know we didn't do MOW for other ones, but I'm very familiar with this.
With this region.
Yeah.
I mean, Tristan's got the number 2 ranked kid, Elijah Hurt from North Iredale, in his weight at regionals.
Yeah.
If he goes 220, which is what I think he will do. And I mean, I'm gonna pick Tristan comfortably. We're obviously a little biased because he's a local kid about that. So, feeling good about that. I'm really excited to see what Tony looks like here. I'm also excited to just kind of check out the Inca Jets, the future 3A state runner-ups this year. Being runner-up to
big words,
boys down such
big words. We'll see. It's gonna be a fun one. But moving over to the Mid East, I think these are 2 big ones. I think the 2 biggest ones here are gonna be 106 and 285.
Yeah, bookends, right?
Yeah,
smallest guys and the biggest
smallest guys and the biggest guys. I say they start their finals right there at 285 and get those out of the way pretty fast. Yeah. But Ashton Neal from Southern Durham, state qualifier, and then he's number 2. Number 3, Chris Watson, Eastern Alamance, it's another state qualifier. But I think the big one there is going to be the heavyweights there. Zion McCreechan from Douglas Byrd and Garrett Crockett, number 4 there at heavy. Mid-East it's a rebuilding region,
Yeah. Right. Not right now. I mean, at least it could surprise us.
Yeah, but down to the Midwest.
And
where I think
I
think the Midwest is the toughest region this year in 3A.
Yeah, it's pretty stacked, man. I don't think we can argue it, honestly. It's just based on who they have returning in the region, and then kind of just all the matchups we got going on. So let's just kick it off. 106, we got 3 big names: Noah Cobble from Piedmont, Cooper Davis from Cox Mill, and Charleston Baglio from Where at? From
Well,
where?
you're gonna make me say it.
Yeah, I am.
From the school down there in is it Central Cabarrus? Is it
Oh,
Cabarrus?
Such a Cabarrus. Such a Cabarrus.
Yeah, Central Cabarrus. You picked them, couldn't even say their name.
Listen,
okay.
They're that good.
Shout out Trip Rogers. He had to call you out on it.
Hey,
I just had to bring that up one more time.
That's fine. I'm on heat. No, but Charleston Baglio,
It's a big weight right there.
I think he's the favorite in this weight. Cooper Davis though is sneaky good. So, Baglio already went over Cobble earlier in the year, so I feel a very comfortable win. So, kind of favorite there. Going to begin his state title campaign. Zipfus is going to have something to say about that, and a couple other guys. Obviously, I think he's going to perform really well at the state tournament to be able to do the things that he needs to do for the team. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Rankings on NC Matt have Jackson Baglio at 120. I've seen him wrestle 113 this year, so I'm really not 100% sure where he's going to be at. I think he's going to come back down to 113 for the state tournament. I'm not 100% sure. Jake Cobble, too. Piedmont and Central Cabarrus have been kind of bumping their lineups around just a little bit just to get with those kind of like we've talked about with Ford, too. They had to fill in some holes.
Yeah.
But I think we'll have Baglio down at 113 maybe, and him and Jake Cobble kind of renewing that rivalry a little bit. I'll take Baglio. He kind of proved over last year he had a couple wins. Even though at state tournament they finished Cobble 2, Baglio 3, just the way it worked out. They both lost to Decatur, just having Baglio is on Decatur's side. But 120, if Baglio's there, number 2.
If Baglio is at 120, that is the weight of the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Even without him, though, because if he's not there, that's where I think his teammate Noah Kaiser is.
Yeah.
Now, Kaiser hasn't wrestled in a while, so I'm a little concerned there because he is another state title contender.
Yeah.
So that is a little concerning ahead of the state tournament. I think we'll see Baglio at 13 and Kaiser at 20. But that you're right. That is the way to the tournament. You have number 2 Ethan Lopez from Southwest Guilford, and number 3 Joey Bruciano from Southeast Guilford.
So if I'm not mistaken, there's a very good chance that one of them doesn't even make it in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a interesting deal here, right?
Because there's got to be some. I mean, you always have to account for one seed mess up in each bracket.
I mean, what if
right? That one kid that has an undefeated record because they didn't wrestle anybody because their coaches are only worried about their records. And you should probably cut me off because I'm gonna go off on a big rant here.
Yeah, so that's the hard part is that
coaches get your kids better. Don't just let them go undefeated.
Now you get like those 2 seeds. Those 2 seeds or 3 seeds that kind of have that bolstered record a little bit, and the 4-5 matchup always ends up being really, really good. Yeah. Or the 3-6 matchup, and then you have if like the 4 seed kind of has like a bolstered record or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then you have the kid who loses in the quarters, but they wrestle back in those next couple matches, and they beat the kid that was made the semis because of his path. We're not going to have that this year. It's gonna be interesting. But the next weight, this is one we talked about at length a couple episodes ago. Marcus Jackson versus Trip Collins, maybe the best matchup of any weight of any classification. We got 2 state champs who said, "I don't care. I'll put my ring on the line and wrestle another state champ."
Yep.
Now, we watched the match. Right now, we didn't do a breakdown on it as far as putting it out video, but he and I talked back and forth about it a couple times. I'm still going to pick Jackson going forward. He's picking Collins, just like we did last time, just because of that one match. Now, we did talk, and we both agree, in order to win that match, Jackson's going to have to figure out how to get past Trip Collins.
Gotta find some offense.
The head-hands defense of Collins stifled Jackson. And he kind of really controlled the ties, pushed him around, kind of had him near the edge a bunch of times. So if Jackson wants to win that match, he's going to have to figure out how to wrestle on those ties and create angles and score leg attacks. I personally think he can do it. I'm going to continue to pick you. I'm all in on Central Cabarrus. So, and then we got 132, Stephen Cotton from Southern Guilford. and Connor Goodman from JM Robinson. Connor Goodman's dad, I think, is the guy that's been doing the North Carolina live streams on Facebook.
Right.
He's an unsung hero, man, putting up some awesome content. You guys haven't found that on Facebook, you need to. North Carolina live streams, I think is the name of it, but it's been pretty awesome. So shout out to Connor for having an awesome dad and being number 3 in the state, getting Russell Stephen Cotton there. And to see who can move on to kind of challenge Will Lewis from Western Harnett. Luke Masterson, Central Cabarrus, going to be wrestling Cody Locklear from Piedmont. Masterson kind of dominated that match earlier this year. I don't see that changing. The one challenger for your boy Tony Torres, Oren Bose, going to be wrestling 160 here, kind of dropping from 170 throughout the year.
Yeah.
Joe Z from Weddington at 182 is someone to watch.
And then I think this is a massive bracket here at the big boys.
The big boys are getting some good matches in the regional tournaments. Yeah. A lot of the top ranked guys end up being in the same regionals this year for our bigger guys. Kick it off though, Red. This was a good one.
Number 2, Cody Hardy from Parkwood versus Jameer Ferrier from Southern Guilford. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Man, that's solid. I've got to take Jameer there. He's an animal. I mean, he's a complete monster. And, I think I know they're ranked 1 and 2, but I think that's a state finals match if we see Tristan stay at 220.
Yeah, if we see Tristan at 220, this is a state finals preview. Cody Hardy, I saw on his, I think it was his Instagram, maybe it was his Twitter, that he was visiting Navy football earlier this week or last week. So that's pretty cool. That shows you that he's not just a good wrestler, pretty good athlete there.
Yeah, both those guys.
That matchup's going to be pretty awesome.
Both those guys.
I think I lean towards Jameer because of who his club coach is, NCAA runner-up, Justin Hardy.
Chapel Hill zone.
Yeah, but Hardy, I think, is one of the most slept-on wrestlers in our entire state.
You mean Ferrier?
No, I think Cody Hardy is.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think Hardy.
I messed up and thought of Justin Hardy there.
No, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, yeah, Cody Hardy.
He is slept on, man. He's an animal. Like, he really is. They're both. That is one that that I would love to see. And like I said, if Tristan stays at 220, I think that's our state finals right there.
Speaking of C, if you guys film these matches,
please send them to us.
Because there's no way we'll get out to the East mid.
There's no way, and it's so big this year for regionals and for state. We depend on you guys right now for this. That one, I'm going to be coaching Tuesday. Two,
coaching.
It's on a Tuesday. And that's tough for you to travel. To get to a lot of different regions, and so there's a lot of big matches across the state. This regionals, or this regional tournament coming up. If you get a video of it and you want to send it in, please send it in. We'd love to be able to watch it.
All right, let's finish strong and hit our 4A kids.
Let's do it.
All right, man. We'll start out east. We got 106, kind of dominated by Jack Dillon of Ashley. I don't see that changing anytime soon. He's number 2 ranked kid in the state right now. 120 got some little
weight of the tournament,
firepower here. I like this. So we got number 1 defending state champ from Laney, Mark Samuel. Been working with that Boomer Boyd and Alan Waters.
Down at Innovate.
Looking good. I'm ready to see. It's been a while since we've been able to see Mark Samuel against some really top competition here. So I'm ready. But at his weight is number 3, Frank Bianco from Rollsville. And he's a freshman. So being ranked number 3 at 120 as a freshman, pretty impressive.
In 4A.
4A. And then number 4, Kel Berquist from Heritage was 5th last year as a freshman and just a sophomore this year. So all 3 of those guys at the same weight, looking good. I think that number 6, Alex Hopper from New Bern, and number 5, Ben Lance from Lake Forest at 160 is going to be a pretty good little scrap. And then some kind of weight change news here that's kind of a big deal. Devin Bell coming down from 182 to 170, and Holden Cipher coming down from 195 to 182. Now, I understand why both of you guys did that. I was kind of hoping Cipher would stay 195 so we could get kind of
us being selfish.
Him versus Tate versus Floyd. I was really looking forward to that. Not going to happen. He's back down at 182. Yeah. And then I was hoping when I saw that he came down to 82 that Devin Bell would stay, but Devin Bell coming down to 170. So little mid-east action coming up next. Just a couple guys to kind of keep an eye on. We got Luke Kumpf from Cardinal Gibbons. Now, he's ranked number 2 in the state right now behind Brant Fagerman, which is the right call because they wrestled in the semifinals last year. That's their last head-to-head. But they wrestled a bunch of times last year, and I think that Luke won the majority of those matchups. I have to go back and double check.
I think Brant's on.
We're kind of getting late right now, so I'm losing my brain about losing my brain a little bit about if I'm 100% accurate on that. But I think Luke won the majority of the matches last year until that semifinal, so that's kind of heartbreaking for him. But that would be interesting to watch this state tournament. And then you got your boy at 160,
Joe Locke, Jack Britt. Man, I think he runs away with this region, and he's a top one for a state title this year. You know, I'm excited to see what he does. I think this next one though is so for us, I would say 220 is going to be the weight of that region. Number 3, Josh George from Southview, took 3rd last year. Going against number 2 from Apex, Noah Williams, took 4th last year. That's going to be a big one right there. That's going to be a big one leading into the state tournament to see how those guys are stacking up.
Yeah. I'm excited for Noah Williams being number 2 guy, Josh George number 3.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Now, Josh George has been playing a lot of sports, so I'm not 100% sure if he's been able to completely focus on wrestling or not. So we'll see where I go. At heavyweight in that region, a team we haven't talked about most of the time all year, kind of flying under the radar this year, is North Carolina's legendary program, Taylor.
Yeah.
And Rylan Van will be there.
A heavyweight legendary program as well.
Yeah.
Look back at Palma coming from Cary.
He's a state title favorite. Definitely one to watch because he's exciting at those upper weights. But definitely keep an eye on Cary. I think they'll surprise some people more than they've been letting on this year.
For sure.
So let's move to the Midwest, Brett, where 106 is the weight. 106 is the weight to watch, man. You got number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6, all in the region. Like you were mentioning earlier, hopefully these don't end up being quarter matches.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, that will just suck. Because we got Riley Logan from Glenn.
Which sucks.
Number 3, Riley Logan from Glenn. Number 4, Joseph Burns from West Forsyth. Number 5, Brad Yoakum from Ragsdale. Number 6, Kyle Pruden from Northwest Guilford. And speaking like, we're hoping these aren't quarterbacks. I know that the kids don't really care. And I know the coaches are like, whatever, we got to beat the best to be the best.
Yeah.
But as a fan and a media member, I want the best kids at the state tournament that we can have. And I want all those kids to get that opportunity. So hopefully these are all the 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds.
Yeah.
That's going to be the way to watch.
So normally I think you would say like it doesn't matter, but like it does.
It does this year.
It does this year because you lose your first 2 rounds, you're done. You're out. Gone by. Season's done.
Yep.
So it's tough. But popping up to 113, Matthew Rowland from Pinecrest versus number 3, number 3 Eli Pendergrass from Northwest Guilford, that's a team that's making a lot of noise saying that they're the best team in the state.
Yeah.
They're wanting to hop on to the next edition of Whiteboard Wars.
Joplin was like, hey, how about Northwest Guilford on there?
Yeah. And we can't forget about Joplin, Yeah,
so
animals.
But I am interested in this 113 match with Roland and Pendergrass.
Yeah.
See, Pendergrass kind of come on. He wasn't someone I kind of had on my radar as a freshman, but he's proven I should have. And then 145, you got kind of a little trio there with Jacob Woodburn, Riley Edwards, and Torrey Moore. Congratulations, Torrey. I saw that you committed to Queens University. So Rob Tate.
Yeah. Staying in the state. Big things.
Man, Torrey, I saw him at the Gauntlet Wrestling Productions event. He wrestled with Joe Seeley there. Not his ideal performance, I don't think. But bigger story was really, really respectful, nice kid.
Yeah.
I honestly I couldn't say enough.
You got a great one, Queens.
So, yeah.
Rob Tate, you got a great one.
Great wrestler, better kid for sure.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the guy he wrestled at Gauntlet Wrestling Productions.
152.
152.
The best freshman.
Much lately.
The best freshman in the state.
best freshman in the state.
We're gonna
Some people
see
say
how
best wrestler in the state. Some people say if you're NC Matt, you're saying pound for pound wrestler in the state. It could be true. I don't know. That's up for them to decide on their website.
I think we can talk about that after the state tournament
for sure. And
I want to see how dominant.
I want to see. We're talking about Joe Seeley.
Yeah, we're talking about Joe Seeley. To really weigh in on that and give an honest answer, I want to see how dominant he is in the state tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Man, I don't know.
Because if he squeaks by, I'm not saying he's pound for pound.
1A, 4A, 3A, 2A.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to see them all at the same time.
Yeah.
Back in the Coliseum. Frustrating. Oh well.
Yeah. Back to 182.
Yeah, this is a good one. We got number 3, Jack Jarvis from Davie County.
Yep.
And number 4,
with the school we haven't got to talk about a lot.
Davie County has a great program. And number 4, Michael Quinos from East Forsyth.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a good matchup in that Midwest region. So then you got out west, rounded us out. This is our last region here. 106, the one guy is kind of standing out at 106 right now. Freshman Cam Stinson from Mallard Creek. He's been putting it on people, looking great. And then 132, we got number 3, Greg Merriman, who was 4th at 106 last year against Tobias Finn, who's number 5 ranked kid in the state, former state placer. He's out of McDowell. I am a little concerned about Merriman, the fact that he hasn't wrestled lately. I think he's got maybe a little bit of the injury bug. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But so anytime a guy has kind of not had a lot of matches coming to regionals, it's definitely just kind of something you want to watch. But I think he definitely is he's a title contender as far as the region goes, and then in the thick of things, but that is James Joplin's kind of weight right now.
I'm going to say 138 and 4A West is that regional finals could be the match of the entire state, everything of regional state, everything. If that actually happens between Trainer and Freeze, rematch of the state finals, of course I'm taking Trainer.
Oh yeah,
Trainer. That's big. Like that's a big one right there, man.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I think it's probably the match of the tournament as far as credential wise. I like the matchup just as far as like a media, we can hype it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a fun rematch of state finals. And we'll see if Freeze has been able to close that gap. Trainer stuck him last time. And so it's one of those things that that's something that sticks in your, that stays in your mind.
Yeah.
And so I don't think anyone touches Trainer. I personally think Trainer's pound for pound right now. I think he's especially the top senior in the state to me. I know I said that on the Whiteboard Wars. Sorry, Landon. I know that you're not my biggest fan right now, but we're gonna pop down to 160. Luke Gooden from Mooresville versus Justin Sanders from Huff. That's gonna be a big one. We're gonna see. They just wrestled a few not too long ago.
Yes, not too long ago.
So it's recent.
Let's go now.
Big props to those two programs for knowing they're in the same region, knowing they're about to see each other again soon, and still going down and taking the challenge. And then to end us out here, 195, Carson Floyd, who is an absolute beast. He's a hammer. I think it's his weight. I think 195 and 4A is his weight. I don't think anybody touches him, but he's got Chris Dickey from East Mech and
defending state champ Caleb Tate.
And defending state champ Caleb Tate. I stand by what I said though. Carson Floyd, I think he's going to win that region.
I think he's going to dominate. I really want to see the Tate Floyd match, but I think he wins very comfortably. That's it, guys.
That's it.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the team race from 4A West though, with Mooresville, Lake Norman, and Huff. But that's it. We ran through all the regions, Brett. I'm excited. We try to mention some guys that, maybe you're not thinking about a little bit. Maybe you just the regions that got some clusters of really top-ranked guys that we don't talk about that aren't maybe on some of the top teams right now.
Yep.
I'm excited. Here we are. It's going to be Tuesday coming at you with the regionals. Please, if you were at a regionals and you don't see we'll both be at 3A West. I might be able to make it over to 2A West.
If you see us, come say what's up.
Say hey.
Yeah. Tell us you hate the show. Tell us you love the show.
Yes. Come tell us. Do that. say hey,
Yeah.
talk wrestling with us. If you're at one of the other regionals, 2A East, if you're 3A East, Mid East, whatever, and something big happens, send us a message. Email us at carolina@gmail.com.
Tag us
on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Let us know what's going on so we can keep up with what's going on. Send anything to me, Rye, the NC Wrestling Guy, or Rye Asks FRL on Twitter. Any of those things, keep us updated because we're not going to be able to be at all the regions. I'll be on track simultaneously while I'm paying attention to wrestling at 3A West. I might be able to make it down 2A. I don't know. But that's it, guys.
Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It's really awesome. We sat here and uploaded the Whiteboard Wars, and I was able to show Ryan that whenever you hit that bell, it does literally give you just a notification that a new video is dropping. Don't miss a video. Make sure you go check out Village Recruiting Coaching. Check out Tanner Sewell. Big thanks to Frank Smithwick. If you want to be a sponsor, you want to mention the videos, send us an email, send us a DM. Hey, good luck. Good luck Tuesday. It's all you, everybody, guys and girls wrestling the regionals. Leave your heart out there. You know, this is one of those years that every year regionals is massive, but wrestle every match this year like it's your last because you don't get to wrestle back those first 2 rounds. So take care of business. Good luck and put on a show.
Yeah,
we're out.
North Carolina, let's boogie.
Yep, let's boogie.